I'm Dr. Chuck Smith.
And I'm Jill Nesbitt. Together, we have created a comprehensive dental staff training approach that you can use in your own office. To show you how our dental training system works, please enjoy a little history of Dr. Smith and HealthPark Dentistry.
Hi, I'm Dr. Chuck Smith. I practice general dentistry in Tip City, Ohio. On the surface, you might think I lead the perfect life in a small town in the Midwestern United States. I've been married over 20 years. I have 3 lovely children who are well-adjusted and doing well in their own lives. I even walk to the office every day. The office has the most modern equipment available in dentistry. We add an average of 120 new patients every month. The staff is well trained and paid. With our own lab, we can control the quality of our prosthetics very closely. Here's our staff in a rather traditional team family picture. Let's stop just a minute. Don't you admire, even envy me the chance to treat patients in such a beautiful, peaceful, serene setting? I wish I could leave you with the picture I just painted. If I was selling my services as a practice management consultant, would you sign up? Was my professional life always this way? No. In 1977, I was ready to quit private practice. I had recently built and moved into the building you saw, and I had major staff problems. Do any of these problems seem familiar to you? I held staff meetings every other week and told my staff exactly what they were to do. As soon as I had finished my lecture and dismissed my staff, the games would begin. I couldn't figure out why even my simplest suggestion would take months to implement, and then only half-heartedly. In fact, most ideas got started and then sort of drifted away. What about this one? Here's Susie. She's between patients. Susie has just told me that she's been working for me for over 1 year and never had a raise. Now Susie is telling me that she went on a job interview with Dr. Green and he'll pay her 50 cents an hour more than I'm paying her. Here Susie is telling me she doesn't want to leave, and if I would just match Dr. Green's offer, she would stay. I ask you, look at this picture. Could you refuse? After all, she'd been with me for over a year, at least a cost of living increase, and why not? It's worth 50 cents an hour. That's only $4 a day, not to have to hire and train someone else. Do you think this was the end of the story? No. I feel like a Roman emperor who just shouted to the throng in the amphitheater, "Let the games begin." The very next day, Teresa stops me in the hall. Teresa was upset. She had been with me longer than Susie, and you guessed it, no raise. Was this my fault? Was I supposed to know this? I do dentistry. By the way, did I mention that Teresa is a hygienist? She had a different raise in mind. Teresa is an excellent hygienist, well-liked by the patients and staff, so I gave her a raise too. I'm sure you've never got yourself into that last scene, but how about this one? A well-run front desk is the key to a great day. Happy, efficient staff make it all possible. But what happens when? How would I know that? Here's what I don't see. But the picture changes when I'm around. Does this go on forever? No. Finally, Bobby comes to me at the end of the day. She tells me what's going on. I am amazed. Bobby tells me she can't stand it anymore, and she's going to quit if I don't do something. What would you do? So did I. I promised to deal with Cynthia the very next day, and I did. I confronted Cynthia with her foul deeds. I got the results you probably expected. Cynthia had a different story. It seems Bobby had always been jealous of the wonderful relationship that Cynthia and I had. Bobby was always telling tales and fomenting trouble behind my back. Through all these machinations, Cynthia had supported me. Now, on Bobby's word, I was ready to fire her. What can I do? Yes, I'm afraid these problems aren't mine alone. Did you see the wonderful team picture we had earlier? Maybe we should have looked behind the group. You know, these events were part of my professional life for almost 20 years. They got better in 1987. I finally realized there had to be a better way, and I didn't want to play the games anymore. I had 2 choices. 1. Reduce the size of my staff, lower my overhead, raise my fees, and treat those patients that could afford me. Second, I could manage my staff better. I chose to manage better. Actually, with the trends I perceived in healthcare, I didn't think I had a choice. Would you agree with me that 1. Government, business, and patients' perceived needs will determine the future course of dentistry, not dentists? Secondly, that people are tired of only being provided emergency and repair services. They are demanding to look good and avoid dental problems. Third, healthcare groups will compete on the basis of personalities, quality, convenience, and price. Teamwork, marketing, comprehensive services, economics of scale, bigger is better, and their ability to form relationships with their patients will determine their success. Do you see the direction of these trends? They point away from the doctor-driven STAR system and toward a healthcare system where treatment is provided primarily by the non-dentist staff. Well, this may sound good, but aren't we back to the same old problem? Survey after survey of dentists indicate that the worst problem dentists have is staff administration. I stumbled onto my solution in 1986. I was returning from a group practice meeting in Colorado that featured a series of speakers discussing new concepts in office cleanliness and sterilization. I realized that there was too much information to hand down from person to person in the standard oral tradition in my office. I decided my only choice was to write down exactly what should be done and why it needed to be done. The more I wrote down what needed to be done, the more tasks came to mind. I quickly realized that we ask our staff to do a lot more than I was giving them credit for, and I wasn't providing them nearly enough training and virtually no recognition when they learned these tasks. Next, I organized the tasks from easiest to most difficult and then broke them down into groups that could be learned in 3 to 6 months. Finally, I established a salary that I thought was fair for each level of achievement. I was surprised to see how many years it would take of constant effort to reach level 9. I was also surprised to see how much I could afford to pay a staff member that learned and applied all this information effectively. In 1987, I had written enough to start using the manuals. By 1988, another important change took place. I found that each group, secretaries, chairsides, and hygienists, each felt they had it tougher than the other two groups. To emphasize that dentistry was more a behavioral than a physical science, I took all the people skill material and made a separate set of 9 levels that complemented the technical skill levels. Well, that's the manual system. Here are the advantages that I have found. When a person is considering working with us, they know during the hiring process what they will be doing, how much they'll be paid, and about how long it will take to achieve the career they want. When people start to work, they know what is expected starting day one, what they should learn first, and enough information supplied so they can learn quickly. Those were obvious advantages, but here are some less obvious ones. A written system provides a framework for future change. When a doctor returns from a meeting with a great idea, often this idea wasn't implemented. Now each new task fits into the system somewhere. Training materials included. It's a specific track at a specific level so the people who are responsible know it, learn it, and do it. The manuals force the doctor to quietly communicate with his staff. In many offices, the doctor spends most of his time dealing with manipulators, complainers, and problem makers. The manuals allow the doctor to spend most of the time with those who are doing a good job and successfully developing careers. It selects out low achievers. Everyone can advance 3 levels in the first year. If someone gets stuck in level 1 or level 2, then a dental career, as outlined in our office, is probably not right for them. The manuals allow individual program learning with lots of positive feedback. Our staff seldom goes to a seminar together. A seminar assumes that everyone is ready to learn the same thing at the same time. I used to take the staff to seminars. They'd showed up and gripe among themselves if they weren't paid. It was an attitude of favor and have to. I felt just like Dad packing the kids into the car on the way to a classical concert. Finally, some people start learning quickly. Some are slower. Both may develop into excellent staff members over a 3-year period. The manuals take the pressure off the slow and steady performer. So what kind of problems do other dentists see with a manual system? Some feel the system is too rigid and programmed. What if someone wants to learn a level 2 skill and she's still in level 1? No problem. Learn the level 2 skill. She's just that much further through level 2 when the time comes. The system allows you to give directions to growth. Some dentists are afraid they couldn't afford to pay the salaries if everyone attained level 9. First, if a staff member learns to use the skills involved in advancing a level, they'll increase the productivity more than enough to offset their raise. Secondly, if I had 7 level 9s on my staff, I'd be so productive that we'd probably spend several weeks in the Bahamas planning next year's successes. Everyone will know what everyone else makes. No problem. Everyone already thinks they know what everyone else makes, including the dentist. Now they'll actually know the truth. All the figures, production, collection, overhead, etc., are shared on a regular basis during staff meetings. No secrets. Everyone is important enough to know what's going on. The manuals work for us at HealthPark, but they wouldn't work for you because A, you practice by yourself, B, people are stupid in your part of the state, C, you're stupid, D, you fill in the blank. I believe 80% of the material in the manuals could be applied directly in your office. The final 20% could be personalized if you want to take the time, but I don't think it's necessary. After all, the manuals are only a starting point to guide communication between a doctor and a staff. Could you write your own set of manuals? Sure, but it's a very time-consuming task. I've spent 40 to 100 hours on each manual. Also, due to the size of my group, I have enough staff passing through the levels to allow me to continually polish the various manuals. Also, Ohio's AQP laws allow a chairside assistant to develop a much better career than in many other states. If you would like to implement a manual system in your practice of dentistry, please contact me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the old-time slideshow. If you have experienced some of these kind of staff challenges in your own office and you'd like to really enjoy the benefit of a well-trained staff and a smooth running practice, we would be happy to help you. Just send me an email and let me know that you're interested. And I will send you a link to another video that will talk about how this might work in your practice. Thanks for watching.